welcome back. And I know you're looking at me thinking, what on earth is that he's wearing around his neck? Yes, it is a clock, and you'll see why I'm going to do that. Because today we're talking about how to tell time. Now, before we get into the nuts and bolts of it, I need to explain a couple things. First off, the way people tell time has changed considerably in the last 30 or 40 years. When I was a boy, okay, we really didn't get that hung up on the exact minute of the day. It was like, we just kind of round to the nearest 5 minutes, and that was good. If it was 8:08, you'd say it's 10 after 8, okay? If it was, 10 minutes to 8, you'd say it's 10 to 8, or if it was, say, 12 minutes to 8, you just kind of go, it's close enough. It's 10 to 8, okay? We also said things like quarter after, quarter till, half past, okay? And then everyone was happy with that. And then a terrible evil came into the world in the form of a digital watch. And I'll never forget, there was this one kid in my middle school. He was the first kid to come to school. He had a digital watch. And we thought it was the coolest thing. Even though it was really, by today's standards, just really cheesy. It was a light-emitting diode, so you have to click the button and it would flash the red letters at you, or the red numbers at you. And if you were outside and it was a sunny day, you kind of had to hold it right up to your face in order to see the numbers. But anyway, from that moment on, well, from the invention of digital watches, not from this kid bringing it on campus, but from the invention of the digital watch, that's when everybody started getting really persnickety about the exact minute, People would say, oh, it's 10 after 5, and they go, no, it's not. It's 5:09 and 47 seconds, and people would be all jerks about it. Now, that change has happened in the Spanish-speaking world, just because of the ubiquitousness, the ever-presence of phones that give you the digital time and digital watches and stuff. But it happened a lot more slowly, much more slowly than here in the United States. For that reason, I'm going to tell you kind of the old-school way of telling time in Spanish, but I'm also going to tell you the way that a lot of people are saying it now. Either way is fine, whichever one you want to do. Okay, first thing. In Spanish, in English we say it's 5, it's 7, it's 10, okay? Spanish has two different ways of expressing that it's, okay? And it depends on what time of day it actually is. If it's 1 o'clock, now 1 o'clock is considered singular, obviously, because there's only one of them, okay? So if it's 1 o'clock on the dot, they're going to say es, it is la una, it is 1, okay? Es la una. But if it's any other time, if it's 2 or 5 or 10 or 12 or whatever, they're going to change the S to son. They're going to say son. They change the la to las, because now we're talking plural numbers here, okay? And las is plural. Son las dos. And I put a dos and then I put a plus here. And the plus is because it could be 3, 5, 10, whatever. So 2 o'clock would be son las dos. 3 o'clock would be son las tres. 10 o'clock would be son las diez. You're good with that. However, what happens if the time isn't exactly on the hour, which it's only happens 24 times a day? Okay? That's where these little words come in handy. And this is the old school way of teaching this, okay? You got this word, y. Y means and. And then you have this word, menos. Menos means minus. Okay? So back in the day, if the minute hand, okay, the big long hand, and I know for some of you guys, because you don't know how to tell time on an analog clock. But if the minute hand was on that side of the clock, what they would do is they would say, okay, it's 5:10, so it's past the 5. This hour hand is past the 5. The minute hand is on the 2, which means it's 10 after. So they would say this: son las, it's 5 o'clock, so they say cinco, y and diez. Son las cinco y diez. It is 5 and 10. Okay. If the minute hand was down here at the 4, that'd be 20 after. They'd say son las cinco y veinte, which is 20. Okay? And they would do that anytime the minute hand was on this side of the clock. All right? Now, if the minute hand was on this side of the clock, what they would do is they would, let's say this one is, well, it's kind of 7:50. Okay, so it's 10 minutes to 8. What they're going to do is they're going to count up to the next complete hour, which in this case would be 8. Remember, it's 7:50, so it's not quite 8 o'clock. But what they're doing, because the minute hand is on this side of the clock, this big thing here, right here, that minute hand, they count to the next hour. They would say, son las ocho, it is 8, menos, minus 10. Okay? they're counting to the next hour. Whoops, my clock is falling. They count to the next hour and then count backwards how many minutes it was minus. Okay? If it was over here, let's say it was 7:40. They'd count to the next hour, which is 8. They'd say, son las 8 menos, and because the hand was 20 minutes away from being 8 o'clock, they'd say menos 20. Okay? Now, a couple other little words they'd use. Media means half. Okay? If it's 7:30, they would say son las 7:30, and half. You would never use menos with this. Okay? And then you had and then that's a slash, menos, and then this word, cuarto. Now don't get confused with cuatro. It's not cuatro, that's 4. Cuarto means a fourth. Okay? So if it's, we would say, quarter after. So if it was 5:15, we would say this. We could say it's quarter after 5. And again, this is old, old English and old Spanish. And by old, I mean like 30, 40 years ago. So if it's 5:15, I would say son las 5, okay? And cuarto. It's 5 and a quarter. Let's say it was 5:45, meaning that the minute hand would be on this side of the clock. Okay, 5:45. So in other words, it's 6 minus 15, and that's the way they would express it. Son las 6 menos minus cuarto. Okay, son las 6 menos cuarto. All right. Yeah, okay, so now that's the old school way. And then a lot of people still tell time this way. And if you were to use this, people would totally understand you, okay? It's just this young whippersnappers who are coming up today like to tell time in a little bit different way. And that's because they have their phones, or they have a digital watch, and it says the exact minute. It says 8:42, okay? And because of that, you'll hear people do this. They'll completely forget about menos and all that stuff, okay? They'll just say, es la una, and then a number. So if it's 1:15, or let's say it's 1:18, okay? Es la una, and then they just say the number for 18, 18. Sometimes they'll put in the E, sometimes they won't. They'll just say, es la una, 18. Or, es la una y 18. Either one is fine, people will say it both ways. But they'll totally ignore the menos, okay? So let's say it's 2:47, okay? Even though the minute hand is on this side of the clock, the newfangled way, they just say son las 2, and then the number for the word for 47. Son las 2:47. Or son las 2:47. They're both fine. I don't care which one you want to use. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that just like in the United States, in English, we've kind of changed the way we tell time, or express the time, okay? Because of, the rise of technology, or how technology has changed the way we speak. That has happened also in Spanish. So you'll hear them both ways. Okay, just for fun, I've got a couple of times here for you. They're on the board over there. I can see them, but you can't. I will put the answers in the description box down below this video. But what I want you to do is figure out how would you say the following times. And you can pick either way, I don't care. How would you say it's 10:30? How would you say it's 11:40? How would you say it's 1:10? How would you say it's 2:50? And how would you say it's 5:45? Okay, and those answers will be in the description